Bossman show a special guest, former coach of the Atlanta Hawks. Now he's up there in Indiana, his alma mater, the Hoosiers, doing big things. His coach, Mike Woodson. Woody, good to see you again, man. I miss you down here. I'm glad you're doing well, man. We miss you down in ATL, Coach.
Hey, I miss you down there too. I'm still there though. I still live there, but I got a different job now. I'm back here at my alma mater, like you mentioned, coaching my team and trying to get them back on top, man. That's the name of the game. That's the reason why I came back.
I hear that, Woody. And tell me about this, Woody. Having these young men come to your alma mater where you played it greatly for 4 years there, man. Teaching them about what it is to be a Hoosier. Talk about that Hoosier pride as you've been a man who knows being in their shoes. Help them understand, hey, this is what it's all about being a Hoosier and what we do here in the hall.
Well, this thing is bigger than basketball, I think. First of all, I came back to really mentor, not only teach basketball, but mentor young men into growing up to be men. And, it starts with education, as you know, and this university possesses one of the biggest educational institutions in the country, especially on the business side with the Kelley School of Business. But it all goes hand in hand with me. You got education, and then the fact that I played basketball here and made my life, in basketball coming out of Indiana University and playing a pro career and then coaching professionally. I'm so happy to be back, man, because again, I can share my story. We all got stories, but I can share my stories with a young man and try to teach him on and off the court as we go along, and hopefully good things will come out of it.
Man, here's Woody. What made you go to Indiana when you was getting recruited? What about the university in Bloomington, that great city that you're all in? What was the one thing that said, hey, will be my home. I can grow, become a great player, and also play professionally after I leave here?
Well, at that time, Bob Knight was like the biggest thing in Indiana from a coaching standpoint, and this university was huge. I mean, you think about the 76 team that won the national title undefeated. That record still stands today in college basketball. So, I was looking at all those things growing up in Indianapolis, Bloomington, and the university being an hour away. I wanted to play close to home where my family could come and see me play. And it was just perfect timing for me. They graduated pretty much of the 76 team, and I was coming out of high school in 76. So it was a perfect fit for me to come right in and play right off the bat. My family could come up and see me. And I knew from an educational standpoint, I would get a wonderful education and give myself an opportunity to graduate on time, which I did, and hopefully play professional basketball. Because back then, when you come out of high school, you're not really thinking like these young players today, hey, I'm ready for the NBA. I had to grow into a player in college, become a two-time All-American, and then I got my opportunity when I got drafted by the Knicks.
I never asked this question when you was with the Hawks, Woody. When did you decide you wanted to become a head coach and get into coaching?
Well, that started, I retired from the league after playing 11 years in the league in 93. And then I started, I had a company that I was running here in Bloomington, Indiana, a real estate company with a business partner of mine by the name of Scott May. And I basically took all my MBA money and I bought up Indiana University, the school. And so that's another reason why it's good to be back. But I got into coaching from a good friend of mine named Cotton Fitzsimmons, who coached me in the NBA, who's no longer with us, who just went into the Hall of Fame this past season. He got me into coaching, and something I never thought I would even want to do. But once I got out on the floor and juices started to flow, I really liked what I was doing in that short period of time. So I pursued coaching. And, I coached 8 years as an assistant, won a beautiful title with Coach Larry Brown in Detroit. And then that job propelled me over to Atlanta to be the head coach there for 6 years.
Most definitely, Woody. And I'm gonna ask you about that before we end this interview. I'll ask you about your team as well. You've saw some different styles already this year, Woody, and your guys are trying to learn how to win. Talk about did the non-conference slate helping you prepare for that Big Ten play, which will start here real soon after the first of the year here?
Well, I've been catching a little flack about our schedule. Again, I didn't put the schedule together. Hell, it was in play when I got the job. But the schedule's what it is, man. I mean, we can't run from it, and you can say it's easy, hard, whatever. You still got to play it. And I think when you're building a team, we got 17 players that's wearing this uniform. And when you're building a team, you got to get everybody on the same page. And when that happens, then you're dealing with different personalities that you got to figure out how to coach. And that's what we're doing. They're trying to figure me out as a head coach along with my staff. And I'm trying to figure these players out as individual players and trying to put them in a setting where we can be good as a team. So it's work in progress. And I think we're making some pretty good strides, as a team. Our defense is in the top 10 in the country. I always thought, if you build a defensive system, a good program defensively, you would always give yourself a chance to win ball games. And that's kind of where we are right now. We're 1-1 in the Big Ten and got a long way to go, man. I mean, we're just trying to take it a game at a time and see where it takes us.
You see, Woody, I think fans don't understand it about what you and I understand about the games. Hey, it's always a work in progress. It's always a process. This is your first year. The guys have to learn on each other and you at the same time while playing live action. So the live action you go through here in November, December, make sure you're calloused for February, March when the games are even more important than they are right now.
Well, the Big Ten, there's no doubt, is one of the top conferences, in all of college basketball. So, it's not going to be a cakewalk for anybody. I think, when I look around college basketball, anybody can beat you if you don't come ready to play and if you're not properly prepared. So my job, and along with my staff, we've really been trying to condition our guys mentally and as well as physically that every game is important, and especially at home. I thought, I look at the young team that I had in Atlanta, man, it brings back, good memories, here at Indiana, because this is such a young team that I had to go through that same process there with that young group of guys, man. And it was nice to see those cats grow together and become the team that they did towards the end of that tenure that I had there as the coach.
No doubt, Woody. You kind of read my mind, because I said you've did this before, coaching young, talented young men, getting them to believe in themselves and connect at the right time and get hot and show what they're really all about. I feel like these guys will learn to win each time they go out and play, because you've lost 2 winnable games, in my opinion, but it'll help them down the road. They've been through those fires. You can coach that and teach to it on film, help them not make the same mistakes again down the road.
Well, and you're so right about that. We did lose 2 hard-fought games, but I blame myself. Again, when you coach and a lot of times fans don't really understand it, and they'll point the finger here and there, but it's my job as a coach to get them over the hump. And I've always felt that as a coach, and good or bad, and I don't need the media to tell me, hey, you didn't do this or do that. Hey, I've always put the pressure on myself because I've always felt I'm a pretty big boy. I could handle it. So those were 2 games that, I thought we let get away, but I got to help them more when we're in that position again, that we can get over the hump and really feel good about ourselves.
I hear that, Woody. And you got 2 guys on the inside with Jackson Davis there and Race Thompson inside there. Tell me about those young men attacking the glass for you, owning the paint for you, been anchors for your defense.
They've been fantastic, man. Coming into this season, we had to get Trace back on board because he was talking about going pro. So I talked him out of staying, and Race was going to stay. He wasn't going anywhere. And I made them both captains of our ball club, and they've responded as captains. I just got to get them to be more of a vocal leader in terms of, pushing other guys and holding other guys around them accountable. But that's the whole process of growing as a basketball team. But again, I like where we are as a basketball team and the direction where we headed. We just still got a lot of work to do.
And I like what you got in the backcourt too with Parker Stewart and Miller Kopp shooting those three balls for you. Those long balls, good at inside-outside game is always good. It reminds me of Al Horford and Vivian, those guys on the outside for you there, man. So kind of getting them, draw their attention to you, get Parker or Miller there open for a three there for you guys.
Well, at the end of the day, college basketball is pretty much like the pros. There's so many college basketball teams that are trying to emulate the NBA style of play. And I knew that coming in. So I think when you're building the team and recruiting, you got to find guys that can make the long ball. We were searching at the beginning of the season because I didn't know who could actually make it for our ball club. And I think we're shooting about 38% from the threes. And, for us, that's pretty good. But again, we got to continue to get better. We got to get other guys involved because make no mistake about it, if you can't make threes and you playing teams that can make threes, it will be a struggle. So we're trying to put our guys in the best position possible to mix it up where we have a nice inside game with our bigs that can demand the ball and guys on the perimeter when they're open, feel good about making the shot.
And you'll be in Indianapolis on Saturday for the Crossroads Classic against Notre Dame and Mike Brady. I've seen him coach many a times down here in Georgia. There's Tech down here when they come down here and play Tech. Tell me about that matchup. We see them guys on the film, Woody.
Well, they're a good, well-oiled machine. Great coach. His system has been in place for a number of years. They play 7 to 8 players. That's it. So you know what you're getting. And there are going to be key matchups around the floor. So we just gotta do what we do from a defensive standpoint, making sure that we rebound the ball and not turn it over offensive because that's kind of been a problem for us. And I think if we do those things, we'll come out of there with a win. But again, it's got to be 40 minutes, from beginning to end with this team because they're a senior team. I mean, they got juniors and seniors that's been together a number of years and they know each other.
Oh, definitely. And Woody, you got 3 good signees, man, in the early recruiting period here. You got one from Atlanta, Mr. Banks from Fayette County. Tell me about that young man in your class in general that you signed for 2022 there.
Well, Caleb, when I first saw him, when I first got the job, Caleb was one of the first players that I saw. And I like his skill set. He's a 6'8" kid, that needs weight. He's got to grow in his body, but he's got a nice skill set and a knack to score the ball. And, I like guys that can score.
Oh, yeah.
So I like Joe Johnson, Jamal Crawford, guys like that, Carmelo Anthony. But, no, he has a knack to put the ball in the hole. So, and he's playing a position that he can play 3 and 4, and I still think he's growing and he's, pretty much got to, grow into his body. But I like everything about him. And again, he's a young player, as a learning curve. I don't care how well you tear it up in high school. When you come to college, it's a learning curve. So, and I get that. So, but I'm happy to have him on board. We got a kid out of Mount Ver in Orlando. Jalen Safino, that it's about a 6'4", 6'5" point guard that to me has some Jason Kidd overtone. He's not as quick as Jason going north and south, but he knows how to run a team. He sees the floor extremely well. And when he's got to go score the ball, he can go do that as well. So we're happy to have him on board. We got a kid out of Indianapolis named CJ Gunn that can flat ass shoot the ball. So, 3 nice pickups for next season, and I'm still looking.
I hear that, Woody. It's about the time with the Hawks, man. I remember 04. I was still in college at the time before I got doing the media thing. I was still in college at the time, Tennessee State. And, when you came, because we had Kruger and Stotts, and you gave us that confidence that we'll be good eventually. And it all clicked in 07, 08, man. And I remember you made that bet. You said you'll shave your head if we got the playoffs.
I didn't have a choice, man. It was either that or get a tattoo or or an earring. So I mean, I wasn't about wearing earrings or tattoos. So I cut all my hair. I was losing my hair anyway. Shit, I cut it all off. But that team was a good. It was a good team, man. I mean, I thank ownership every day, man, when I wake up, man, for giving me the opportunity to grow that team over 6 years. Now, I didn't like how I had to leave that team because, hell, I left winning 53 games and making 2 back-to-back second-round appearances. Unfortunately, we ran into LeBron James the one year, who ended up going to the finals, and then we ran into Orlando Magic, Dwight Howard, who ended up going to the finals, losing to the Lakers. So it wasn't like those teams that we were playing were shabby. We just weren't ready yet. But just the fact that I had an opportunity to grow a basketball team, it was fun. I wasn't realistic coming in because I just won a title, and I thought, hell, I can take these young guys and win a title this year. And that just wasn't fair to those guys. But the likes of Josh Smith and Marvin Williams and Josh Childress and Joe Johnson and Al Horford, that whole Bibby. I mean, we had
Zaza.
Zaza, Ty Lue, jump started us. I mean, it was a fun bunch of guys to coach. We had our ups and downs, but that's a part of coaching. But the fact that ownership let me spend 6 years there to build it, it was fun.
No doubt, Woody. You know what? That series was the Celtics, man. When Zaza got in KG's face and showed him he wasn't backing down, Woody. And in games 3, 4, and 6, man, Flip Serena was rocking, man. I'm like, and that was amazing, man.
No, that series taught our team a whole lot, our young guys. To see our young guys be able to push that team to 7, man, when nobody thought we'd even win a game. It was special for those guys. So it wasn't about me. They did the work, man. They put the work in on the floor. I just wish I could have got them, over the hump in game 7, which, we weren't able to do. And that team goes on to win the championship that year. So they were pretty damn good.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what, Woody, I'll tell you outside. I came in on the back end of your tenure there, but you was always good to the media and good to all of us guys. And then you went to New York, and my man Tony T-Bone Williams loves you. He just talks about y'all. It's like, so you started to practice, man. I'm like, so when you left, man, I'm like, I missed you.
Well,
you were definitely missed, man. We media people, we all said, man, we miss Woody. So I just want to tell you, we all missed you when you left, buddy. We really did.
Well, that means a lot to me, man, because again, I never left Atlanta. Hey, I'm still in Atlanta. My home is still there, man. And I come back in the summertime and spend time with a bunch of my friends that are still around with us. So Atlanta's home right now for me.
Last one before I got Woody. Last one for you, buddy. When you come back home here, where's your favorite spot to eat in town, man?
Well, I live on the south side now, over on the south side of town. So I got a little soul food place over there. I'm going blank on the name. It's right there on Cascade Road. Also, my girl that cooks over at the Shell's filling station, right there, the little kitchen there. Hey, the best soul food going, right? For me. I mean, she cooks everything. And then when I finally get fancy and go out, I go into Chops, and I eat down there in the cigar bar and hang out down there and have dinner and have a nice cigar or whatever. But I don't go out a whole lot anymore like I used to. But that's kind of what I do in Atlanta. And I just kind of hang out with my friends and some of my family that's still there as well.
But Woody, you come to town, you want to get some lunch one day when you come to town, brother. Like I said, I miss you, man. I'm happy you got the job, man. Always been a fan of yours for life. How you helped me out as a young reporter, man. So I'm all dead to you, Woody, for what you did for me, my career, and other guys as well like me. You. So you did the best, man. I appreciate it. Really do. Thank you so much for what you did for us all, brother.
All right, well, thank you for having me, man. And I'll tell you what, keep doing your thing. That's what we do. We keep marching along, my brother. All right?
Yes, sir, Woody. Thank you so much, brother.
All right, take care.
See you now.
All righty, bye now.